So today I'm talking with Ronen Atzmon from Atzmon Co. Hi, Ronan. How are you?
I'm very well. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. You've been a YTM member for 10 years almost, and we met
Have been.
originally at BNI. So I know quite a lot about your business, but I'd love you to share with the audience today about your business and how it's evolved over time.
Okay, I'll try and do it as briefly as I can. I came from corporate, about 14 years as general counsel of financial institution. And in that sense, I acquired a significant amount of experience and knowledge across the board of many legal aspects. And so I thought at some point I was made redundant and I was on a crossroad. I thought I want to use that knowledge in the private sector and go and help businesses in the way that meet a niche and meet a need for businesses to get proper legal advice on time, reasonably costly, and help them advance their business. Because at the end of the day, I came with a fair bit of knowledge, both in contracts and in commercial transactions and licensing and government liaisons and litigation. So quite a broad spectrum of experience and knowledge. And I found that small to medium enterprises need that without being forced to access the big end of town and pay $800 an hour. So my business evolved initially from apprehension to planning, and then it just kicked off. And I guess I'm doing something right, because business refer business, and I've been around now for 10 years. So in fact, March this year or April this year was my 10th year since I opened my own practice. So it's been quite a nice journey.
We've certainly followed on in the same sort of footsteps, really, because YTM in its original started in 2013, and 2010 became a business community for exactly that reason, for businesses to be able to find and access trusted networks, because business is challenging. What have been some of the
Yes.
challenges you've had as a sole operator?
The greatest challenge constantly is generating more work. And I must admit that this year it's been the first year that I was actually naturally in the first 2 or 3 years since I opened the business, there was development. So there was always apprehension of what's happening. But then once you got momentum, I found that clients bring clients and stuff like this. And so I never had to market myself too much. Yes, I go to networking and I meet people and this comes referrals from there. But I found that many happy clients refer other clients to me. And once they speak to somebody and they understand their need, by the time they come to my office, they're not shopping. They know what they want, and they were referred to me for a reason, and therefore the conversion rate was nearly 100%. But now, after 10 years, I do find it's still a challenge once things quieted down a bit. And maybe it's COVID, maybe it's the economy, maybe it's because I'm older. I don't know. I don't care. But this year is a bit a funny year. So again, I'm finding the challenge of trying to generate new business, trying to talk to all clients to see what their needs are, and beginning to market myself again. Again, it's a challenge, but you take it head on.
I think that's one of the things about the YTM community, and in general, is that we all face these circumstances. And sometimes when you're working by yourself, you can feel that you're the only one that's actually in this
Yeah.
dilemma. And so when you're working with a client, what's your favorite sort of job to get your teeth into? Have you got a particular area of law that you like the most?
Not really. I do like a number of challenges, and for me the intellectual challenge is the best. I don't like mundane things, even though mundane things are good for business because they can generate easy income, but that's also boring. I had a client who came to me about half a year ago with a complicated deceased estate, and they were of one view how they're going to secure that, how they're going to achieve a result. And after consultation and seeking advice also from a specialist barrister, their direction was completely different. So that sort of intellectual input I find interesting, because businesses come to me with a dilemma with an issue, and I need to apply not only the intellect, but also a practical and commercial solution that will give them what they need. It is silly of me to give them a solution which is just expensive and useless. So working with them, and that's the challenge that I found, and I really, really enjoy. And I had a number of businesses who started very small and grew exponentially, not because of me, because of them. They're the business people, but my share in that is basically giving them the right directions and sitting in the back of them and giving them the support that they need to achieve that. So I just love it in that respect. And I get a reward, not only financially. I actually love it when the client says, thank you. It's
Don't we all? Don't we all? As I often say about YTM, it's about driving opportunities, but, it's called Your Time Matters because growth and fulfillment is really important as well. And I know that you've worked with quite a few of the YTM community and helped them face into issues. So it's, those thank yous that come from the community when they come are what lights us up. So why did you join? Why did you join YTM in the first place?
Well, you and I were at BNI together, and I think BNI reached a point of exhaustion. My business was doing okay. I couldn't do BNI anymore. I sort of met with you. You explained to me the concept of what you're trying to build, and I liked it. I like the freedom, and I like the ability to network without too many rules and restrictions. And then people started arriving. I like the people who arrive, and there's a lot of cooperation between the people. The meetings are always flowing, conversations are flowing. The social aspect is also a contributing factor. So I joined YTM because it was an alternative networking arrangement that wasn't as rule driven, but was more people driven. And I like the concept of people driven, and I gave it an opportunity. And here we are, sort of 9-10 years later. We're still talking networking.
We are. Well, I think we're talking relationships and connection, and
Yes.
and really we have good conversations. So it's been an interesting journey, and I thank you very much for being part of it.
Been my pleasure.